Hey guys, as promised, here is the video, a little bit about my life and how my journey has taken me to where I am today. It's kind of long. I hope you don't get bored, and if you do, I'm sorry, but this is from the heart, truly from the heart. Here we go. And it's just a little bit about my life and what I've done and how I've done it and why I did it. It's just a lot in the photography realm. And I got the itch when I was probably 16 years old. And I would call my brother who lived in Arizona and we would talk. I remember AT&T had, I think it was $10 an hour long distance after 9 p.m. So it was. And anyways, we talk, and it ended up, he just missed home and he ended up coming back and being here a while. He said it just missed everybody. So anyways, he was really into photography. My other brother, Mike, is into photography, but Jim was like way up and did 8x10 film format, did 5x7 cameras, had black and white developing, even did chrome developing, a lot of stuff. And it was big inspiration. My dad also was into photography, but as a hobby, obviously. And he had an old camera from Japan that was called Terran camera. My brother Jim was trying to find the origin of that and everything, and it said it was probably made in somebody's garage because that's what they did way back. And there really is not a whole lot to that camera, and we looked some of it up, but it was just kind of cool. So that was my start. When I was 18 years old, I graduated from Timken High School, and I ended up buying a Nikon F3 High Point. Yes, F3 High Point with the motor drive, motor winder, or whatever you want to call it. And it was great. I mean, it was fun. The lenses, everything. It was totally different experience. Would I do it again? Probably. I would definitely buy a film camera again. It was fun. I had that for a while. I got, like I said, I was 18, so I got a job directly out of high school. I mean, literally the first week out of high school, I got a job as a welder. I took welding up as a vocation, did not go to college, took welding up and got a job with an elevator company. It's now changed names, but it used to be Canton Elevator. And it was an interesting job. To say the least. I did that for like 6 years. And I ended up getting certified to weld boilers. So I was a boiler welder and I took the test and passed that. Welding was fun. It was not something I wanted to do. And I knew I didn't want to do it. It was a lot of heat and humidity in me, just don't do well with that. But I did it. I did it for that's 6 years. And then I ended up rupturing my 4th and 5th lumbar and at work. I was off for over a year and a half. And just when it came time to go back, they didn't want me back because they already hired somebody. Now I guess in the state of Ohio, it's like 12 weeks. If you're off more than 12 weeks, they have the right to fire you and terminate your job. But that was way before now, but they didn't hold it. It was a non-union shop, and I mean, that happens. What are you going to do? And I didn't want to go back. The real reason, I didn't really want to go back. So I ended up saying, you know what? What am I going to do? I was praying, and I swear I prayed all the time what to do with me. I wanted to get into photography. I was afraid to make that move, and especially when you're working and you get a paycheck. I think it was like, I don't even know, $9 or $10 an hour back in '88 is when like I said, it was a small shop, non-union, but and I worked probably 20 hours, 15 hours a week overtime. So it added up. And, for somebody that's 24 years old, it's like, man, now hell, you make $15 at McDonald's. I wouldn't want to do that job either. Excuse me. But anyways, I ended up praying, and it was like an audible voice, just like I'm talking. And it was God. He said, if you take care of the people I send your way, I will take care of whatever you want to do. And I said, you know what? I know I didn't just, this wasn't like made up. It was like a voice loud. And unfortunately, I'm the only one sitting there at the time. And it's like, man, these meds must really be messing me up. But no, I really believe, and I'll tell you what, I do. I take care of people. I help people. It's a great gift to be able to do photography. I got a lot of start from doing just stuff for people that couldn't afford it. And then I ended up doing stuff. I still do it. I photograph kids that have cancer, that are going through leukemia, or treatments that have leukemia, that adults that have, they don't have much to go. I do it for veterans, World War II veterans. I mean, I'll do all kinds of stuff, and I photograph for their families and for them. I did a whole campaign about that, veterans in World War II, and there's not many left. And I also would do Christmas stuff and do photographs for people that are deployed, their families. They can come in, I'll send them some pictures, they can send them to them via digital form or whatever. It's important, in my opinion. It's important to give back. It has to come from your heart. If you're doing it just to make it like show, it isn't gonna do any good. Really, it isn't any good. It just doesn't help. I do it because I want to do it. And I've been blessed, and I feel like, okay, I have this great talent. I have this great ability to make people happy. And when you think about our profession, what other profession out there can make you be in collective happiness? Just like you're in a group, you're capturing, a videographer, photographer, they're capturing all this emotion. People, and I've done funerals, I've done weddings, I've done baptism, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, everything. I mean, I don't know what ceremony I have not photographed. But that's usually somebody in a good environment, in a good space. Now, funerals are a whole different story, and I had photographed probably a dozen funerals, and the one that sticks in my mind is most people probably don't even know who Lou Rawls is, but Lou Rawls was a singer, great voice. He got married to a girl that lived in Uniontown. Anyways, she was much younger, and they adopted a child, and they had called. When I was in North Canton, they had called the studio, and we had caller ID, and this is really, cell phones were just really kind of getting going. And Fran says, "Oh yeah, right, Lou Rawls is calling." And I said, "Might be him," and it was him. And he's like, "Hey, you guys I got your name from several people. You got a great reputation. I'd like you to come photograph our adoption service." And then did some family pictures for him. And unfortunately, Lou, they were having some sort of, I don't know what was going on, but he was out in Arizona, and he had passed away. And his wife had contacted me because shortly after that, her mom passed away. And she says, "Can you come and photograph the funeral?" Well, I did that. And I'll tell you what, I think that was really like my first funeral. That was interesting. It was, she wanted to send the pictures overseas, and I got people upset with me for having a camera at a funeral. I said, "Hey, you talk to them. They're the ones that hired me." But I got if you're going in for mood, and just like, it was, the pictures were phenomenal. And I promised her I would not do anything with them. I could have won a couple of awards, honestly, in the mausoleum with her dad and brothers. It was just crazy. That's I had I think a Nikon D4S. That camera was great in low light, and the mausoleum was dark. There was a little bit of beams of light coming through the ceiling. Amazing. But anyways, I've captured it all. And the point is, you're usually around, you're doing something for somebody that's in need, and they want something nice. They don't want to take time. They want to be able to enjoy their party, enjoy their event, and just your job is to capture that. Capture family portraits, senior portraits. So I did everything. I went along. I started in a little place. Started actually in my living room in the house, and then down the street from the house there was an empty house that we had got. Used that, but it wasn't in a commercial area. It wasn't in the greatest area for that. So a building opened up in North Canton. It was a small, one room. It had to be 10 by 12, maybe 10 by 14. And I used that for a shooting room, computer, desk, and then the basement opened up of that same building. So I moved the office stuff down there, and then I had that one big room. Well, it wasn't really big. So I did that for, I don't know, gosh, 2 years there, maybe 3. And then we bought a house in North Canton. We had like 3 acres of property. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It was an old farmhouse, 1912, I believe it was built. And we just did pictures out of there for, oh gosh, I think 99 to 2015. So in that period of time, I kept doing more and more senior portraits, and the seniors wanted to go downtown. They wanted that cool look of downtown. So that was in the back of my mind. I need to get a spot downtown. And that's what I ended up doing in 2015. I started downtown on 4th Street. It's a cool little art street. But the building that I was in, it was like a square, usable space. Boy, there wasn't much for photos. I squeezed it in. It was rough, but it was downtown. And I stored everything in a little basement that they had there. And meanwhile, I kept looking, and I found a spot. And it was really cool how it all unfolded. I was shooting for a building, a guy that renovates buildings down here, Steve Kuhn. And he didn't even know who I was, and I was photographing the Onesto. It was a 1929 hotel, and it sat empty for 15 years maybe. He took it, renovated it, made lofts, living spaces out of it. But during that process, I kept coming down and I would photograph while those workers were working. I mean, if you act like you know what you're doing, nobody's going to question you. Honestly, take a hard hat with you. And then, oh, who's this? Well, nobody questioned me. So I kept posting this stuff, posting it. And I was at an event where he was speaking, and somebody had said something to him, and they said, that's the guy that's taking pictures. And he come up to me and he introduced himself, and he's like, I never knew. He said, I hired somebody to do this, but they don't have your vision. He said, I want you to do this for me. So I ended up doing work for him for probably 5 years. And one thing leads to another, and they don't need you anymore and whatever, but I love architecture. I love architectural photography, and I captured some really cool stuff for him. And St. Mary's Church in Massillon, historic church, huge church, it burned down. And it didn't burn down, it got fire and it had to be restored. It was probably within a couple of minutes of totally being engulfed in flames. So Steve and a bunch of crew got the job to restore that. And it was my job to document that restoration. And it took almost 2 years. And I got known, people from all over the world would send me, because they had went to St. Mary's Church. They grew up in Massillon, Ohio, and their family, their grandfather, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. But it's really amazing how one project can throw you right into the limelight, and you don't really even realize what's going on and how much that impacted people. It impacted them a ton. So it's one door open, one door closed. It's just a revolving thing. And I learned you got to keep your mouth shut. Stick up for the wrong things or the wrong people, you don't know the whole story of something, you're better off just to kind of like let it go, because things turn ugly really quick in a business world. It's just unbelievable. But I got straight off of that subject. But anyways, that one job that I did had got me noticed everywhere. I mean, it's just like I'd go out. This guy does St. Mary's pictures. He's a guy capturing all that, and it was a really monumental thing to do, and I'm just totally blessed by that. And another thing with social media is I started a page. It was called Characters of Canton. I was out taking pictures one winter day, and I kept hearing this whistling, looking around. It was loud, and I was like, I'm in a loud area, and I could hear this guy whistle. And here comes a gentleman walking down the street, and I was on the corner taking a picture of St. John's Church, and I started talking to him, and he said he was going down to something. His car broke down. He was going to walk and get a part or something, and I said, hey, do you mind if I take your pictures? No, I don't mind. So I took his picture. He told me a little bit about his life story. And I started a page called Characters of Canton. And I'll tell you what, that page took off with just his picture starting it. I still do it. I don't do it nowhere near as much because there's a lot of copycats going on, and a lot of things just kind of dampened it. And I just like, you know what, I'm done. But I ended up getting back into it because everybody loves it, and they still love it. And it grew from like, a few people to 16,000, and probably 10,000 of those people were the first year. And I'm talking back 2015. So that was, social media was really starting to go. It was a Facebook page. And again, that put me on the map. I mean, it's like people know, they said, you can do Characters of Canton. I have a hat. I usually have a cigar. I smoke cigars. Sorry if you don't like cigars. Sorry you don't like smoking. I smoke cigars. I love cigars. And it's really funny how many ladies love the smell of a cigar. It's crazy. Pipe or cigar. My grandfather, my dad, and it just goes on and on and on. It's just one of those things and people know me for that. And it's really cool because they'll see me out. If they don't see me have a hat on, they'll say, "You didn't recognize you." That's so funny, but it's like, it's crazy. The image is everything, and sometimes in our business, images could be good image, bad image, whatever image it is what it is. So I always embrace that. My girlfriend will say, "Aren't you tired? People, doesn't that bother you that people know who you are everywhere you go?" And I said, "No, not really." Because I said, you know why? Because you're only there for so short of a time, and then it just drops. If you don't stay doing stuff, I guarantee you people will forget who you are. They just do, because somebody else comes along, or their attention spans are like, I think 2 to 3 seconds the video needs to change in order to keep people's attention. It drives me nuts watching something like that. I can't. It's just like, my mind's already overloaded. It's like I already have ADHD, and it's like to see that constantly, it just drives me nuts. So anyways, I'm a techie guy for a lot of things. Video, not so much. I'm learning it. And as you guys can probably tell, you know what? It's okay. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for popularity. I want to be able to help people. And if this video like this helps people, that's all I need. I want somebody to say, hey, you know what? I watched this and this really gave me an idea. This helped me. The bottom line of all this is I started as a welder, ended up as a photographer. And I was a welder for like 6 years. And the way the doors open and close, my back issue, if I didn't hurt my back, I don't know that I would have got into photography as a business, because I was afraid to make that jump. I was afraid to go from paycheck to, am I going to get a paycheck? Am I going to have anybody? And I heard it from my cousins. I heard it from people like, what do you want to get into photography for? You're not going to make any money in photography. You can't make any money in photography. Why do you want to do that? You're a welder. Blah, 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 blah. And I just said, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. And not having that job to fall back on now, it was either sink or swim, make that decision and do it. And I did it. And so I'm thankful for that mishap, because if I didn't have that mishap, I don't know that I would be here. I really don't know that I'd be here. So I've met some wonderful people along the way. I've done some really cool things. I've been to places that I could have probably never got in if I hadn't had a camera. And reputation is amazing. If you have a reputation as whatever it is, architectural photographer, home photographer, kids photographer, wedding photographer. I did weddings, 30 of them a year. That's a lot. And that just wasn't what I wanted to do. I made that slowly transition. I did senior portraits, from weddings to senior portraits to corporate stuff. It just took time. And I'm in a spot now where I do a little bit of everything. I do food photography. I help restaurants. I promote their stuff. I just do a little bit for everybody. Some paid, some not paid. That is my choice. And if I know somebody's really need help and struggling, I will help them. I mean, God has blessed me, given me a talent. I mean, I need to make money. I have to make money. I'm not independently wealthy. I'm not Elon Musk. And I just read an article where if he spent $1 million a day, it would take him 600 and some years to spend the money he's got. That just blows my mind. $1 million a day. Yeah. So anyways, I need to make money, and if you do it for free all the time, unless you're wealthy, unless you don't have to worry about it, you can do whatever you want to do. But you, me, we all have to make money. It's important to survive. And sometimes I think people think, well, he just has a camera, it's not going to cost him much. But I have a studio. I have 1,100 square foot studio, and I have top rated gear. I have a lot of money in expenses and insurance and everything else and rent. And so don't give up on a dream. I'm 60 years old. Started YouTube. I mean, I started a while back, didn't do anything with it. But really this year, I think January or February, I started doing little videos. And it's a kid that lives across from the studio. His name is Grayson. He's like 23, 24 years old. Mastermind with video stuff. Great guy. He helped me get started a little bit. And, it's just, if the desire's there in anything, if the desire's there, you can do it. If the desire isn't there, no matter how much gear you have, no matter what you think you're going to buy to make you do it, you're not going to. The desire has to be there. It has to override the fear. If you're afraid, desire will push you through that. You just have to be open to doing really cool things, open to doing new things. Being you in a world that wants to be somebody else, be you. Just be you. It's a novel idea, but just be you. There are people that are going to be better than you. There are people that are going to be not so good. There are going to be people that make more money than you that really aren't nowhere near as talented as you. That's just the way things roll. But you cannot give up. You can't base your worth on somebody else's value. You can't. Your worth is who you are. What they do is what they do. We don't know circumstances. We don't know what. And I'll tell you, truthfully, I know a lot of people that when you see their social status, their social media, you think, man, these people got it. They really got it going on. And because I know some of these people that do that, they do not have it going on. That's the trouble with social media. It's slices of life that they want you to see. None of the in-between, none of the bad, the good, the in-between, the hatred, the backstab, none of that. It's not on there. All you see is this happy, man, we're always going, we're always buying, we're always here, we're always there. And most of the time, those people that flash don't really have the money. The people that I know that have like a lot of money, I mean, I'm talking like a lot of not Bill Gates type of money, but several million, 10 million, $20 million. You don't see them flashy clothes. You don't see them in flashy cars. You don't see, they're very cool people, down to earth, and they don't need to prove it to anybody. So that concept of I gotta have, well, no, I mean, it'll have you. So bottom line is I went from 18 years old, graduated at Timken High School, went weld shop, worked for a Canton Elevator, had its ups and downs, get it, and hurt my back. That made the decision for me to not get back into welding. Even though I did good with it, I didn't like it. It was just too hot, and then I got into this. And I progressed along the way, kept moving forward. I embraced digital when it came out. 2001, I had my first digital camera. I had shot all Hasselblad before then. I love Hasselblad, but I don't have any more. But that's what I started with weddings and that, and film cameras. And we didn't have the luxury of digital, and now the digital's phenomenal. Digital back then we thought was really phenomenal, and it was like, yeah. But it was a cool thing to have. It was, people wanted it. Consumers wanted it. They wanted to know, hey, do you shoot digital? Can you do our wedding digital? Yeah, 4 megapixel. Noisy ISO at 400. But that's what they wanted. So that's what we did. And like I said, I'm blessed. Anyways, bottom line is, don't give up. If you have a dream, keep doing it. If you're afraid of something, get into it. Don't let fear stop you, because your victory is on the other side of that fear. And you have to, in your mind, you have to say, okay, what is the worst that's going to happen to me? Fail? If you fail, then you have a lesson in there. So failing is not like you're done. Learn from what it is. If it's failure, learn from failure. Do what you can. Start back over. Get back up. Do it again. Do something that if you have the desire and the dream, you'll do it. Guaranteed. You just got to stick with it. And don't let outsiders surround you with, can't do it. Why are you doing this? You're crazy. You're nuts. Blah, blah. Just do it. Walt Disney was told he couldn't do it. How many times he did it? He had bankruptcy, I think 7 times, if I'm not mistaken. And look where it's at. So there's setback. I don't look at that as a failure. I look at that as a stepping stone. Regardless of whatever it is you want to set your mind to, do it. Because nobody's going to do it better than you. You have your own unique style. I have my own unique style, and that's what makes people. That's what makes us who we are. Don't worry about copying a style from somebody else. Just, you might get ideas from that person, but don't try to mimic them, because then you're going to just be like a copycat or mini-me. Just do what you do. You'll get the style, get the idea how to light, the idea of what to do. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to get out in public. Just do it. I mean, you really will enjoy it. I guarantee you. If you don't give up, just don't give up. I can't tell you how many times I was close to giving up. Swear to God. And I even had a job I was looking at FedEx, loading trucks through the night, and then working in a day as a photographer. And I was 2 days away from doing that. And then a big job came in, and then another job came in. Had I given up, I still wasn't giving up. I was going to make this work regardless. I was going to go to FedEx. I was going to get a job. I was going to get a paycheck. But thankfully, I mean, every time I've been to that low level, if you just hang on, you'll be okay. I really believe that. You will be okay. Yeah, I hope this helped you somewhat. I just pray that you all have fun with whatever you do. And we may not even be in the photography. I don't know what you're doing, but don't give up on whatever it is you're doing. Honestly, from my heart, do not give up. Just stay the course. And I guarantee the rewards will be beyond your imagination. All right. Peace. Love you guys, and keep shooting. Off. See you on the next video.